It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, but she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but soon they will realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend of Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Well, it is Friday, part 1. Good morning, and good morning. How is everybody doing this beautiful Thursday morning? I feel like this whole week has been about immigration exposés. And the sad part about it is the reason that has been that way, quite frankly, is because we have a lot of fraudulent activity occurring in this country. It is pretty wild when you think about it. The point is not lost on me that how can you possibly have this much content to be talking for like an entire week about these things? That's pretty wild and crazy. And we haven't even gotten at the barn yet, if the truth be told. Because every day that we talk about it, there are people that are listening, and they are coming forward, and they're providing even more information on top of what we think we know. Oh my gosh. Truth, moment of truth. We only know a small part of what is happening. Sadly, there is so much more happening here. It is pretty wild. It is pretty crazy. But as much information as we can possibly get, we will be putting out there. And we want to dig in every nook and cranny, every little hole, pick up the carpet. You guys know the analogy. When you're at home, you're cleaning. You can miss a lot if you're only sweeping around objects. Unfortunately, that's what some people do. They never do a deep cleaning. And when you don't do a deep cleaning, by golly, you can miss a lot. So you got to move furniture. You got to lift rugs. You got to push stuff out of the way. You can't just sleep around the bed. You got to move the bed, get underneath there, dig in the corners. And that is how you know you're doing a proper deep cleaning. So I tell you what, we can keep digging. I don't know how deep this molehill is. I don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes. But what I do know is every single time I get information, we're gonna dig into it. Now, I mean, anybody has any disagreements with that? Do you think that we should just walk away and leave this alone? Because I know some of our young people, they don't even understand what's going on. They're so confused, right? By the criminality amongst us. They're so easily fooled. I saw some of them the other day. Somebody mentioned, well, I don't really care about this. It was in relation to the post about Michelle. Oh, this has nothing to do with me. I just want to find a job. I'm like, poor Safra. It has nothing to do with you, and you just want to find a job. My goodness. Well, why you think you can't find a job? Why you think this country will never be for you if we don't clean this ish up? Yeah, y'all need to wake up. This isn't amateur hour. Yeah? This is the real thing here. We're either going to do it and do it right, or we're not going to do it at all. And then we're not going to complain when we allow our own people in conjunction with other people to destroy this country. I don't even have on any lip gloss this morning. I can't find any, so y'all can just have to deal with natural no lip gloss Sandy. There we go. It is what it is. So, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Right? We can't half do this. I'm wasting my time if you guys don't get the pint. And I want to thank the sources that are coming forward, because guess what? They are members of the Filipino community themselves, but they recognize the dangers of allowing their own people to run rampant in this country, breaking our laws, committing multiple offenses, and nothing happening about it. So there was a message yesterday. Someone posted it on their social media. And to her credit, she denies, she's a member of the Filipino community, and she's also family to Nydia. But she denies that it has anything to do with this current situation that she was talking about, her own, something in her own personal life. I can't argue with that, because obviously, I'm not in her head, right? So I said to her, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that that's true. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think the wording and the timing and the fact that she's family to this person made it a little bit suspicious. So one of her own people reported her saying the following. And I want to be clear. She says that this has nothing to do with Nydia. But listen, I'll never understand the people who bite the hand that feeds them, especially the ones who forget who opened the door, shared the table, and showed up when no one else did. Funny how quickly gratitude turns into entitlement. So she said that was her own personal post and nothing to do with the Nydia situation. But other people in her own community certainly interpreted the fact that it had to do with Nydia, and one of them said, "Stupid. Please delete while you have your dignity. You think taking advantage of us Filipinos and Filipinas is biting the hand that feeds us. So vulnerable, people should thank predators for being there when no one else was. You're so crazy and idiotic." I mean, this person, again, a member of their own community really went for the jugular and was like that. No. So after the post started to go viral on CMR, she said, no, that was just a personal post. It's interesting, but let me say this. What I do know is, although, she's saying it's a personal post, like I said, I'm not in her brain, so I'm not going to judge it. If she says that that's what it was, okay. But I do know that that sentiment is often expressed to me in that particular community. And that is why people get away with what they get away with. Yeah? Because, you should be grateful. You're now in the Cayman Islands. Not realizing the things that they have done to be able to get here and sometimes to stay here. Not for nothing, but we've had a few people, and I know it goes under radar because you guys really aren't paying attention, but we've actually had a few people in the Filipino community commit suicide. I remember some years ago, there was a guy who hung himself in Georgetown. It barely got a mention anywhere. He took his own life. I think we covered it, and I don't think anybody else did. But what would make someone come to the Cayman Islands and feel such a sense of desperation? It's things like this, where they're under pressure, right? Where they have borrowed exorbitant amount of money to be able to get here. Can you imagine having no money, being poor, and then someone comes to you and says, I will give you this dream on a platter, right? I will give you opportunity to work and to make a lot of money in foreign dollars, a foreign currency that is even more, it's stronger than the US dollar. Because a lot of Filipinos go to the US, they work in the nursing profession. They're known really for, certain technical jobs, and nursing is one of them. There's actually a guy that I follow on, I think it's Facebook. He's really, really funny. He's like a social media comedian, but his persona, which I think in real life he might be as well, is that he's actually a nurse. So, he makes a lot of jokes about it, about Filipinas and Filipinos being in the nursing profession, but I think it's a truth that a lot of them are nurses. And so the opportunity to go and work abroad is a really big deal in their community, because Asian cultures, not unlike sometimes what Caribbean cultures used to be, but it's very, very dominant in Asian cultures, is that your commitment to your parents comes before all else, even marital commitments, right? When you get married, you often go and stay with the parents. You are obligated to support them. I mean, it's like a whole thing. Like, if you understand anything about Asian cultures, so I'm not just saying Filipino cultures, it's Indian cultures, it's Nepalese, all the Asian cultures. They have this this cultural expectation that they take care of their parents. So a lot of times that means that the families continue to live together. If they get married, their spouse, especially if they're married to a foreign spouse, has to know that money has to be sent back home to take care of the family. And so, that's just how it works. And there's nothing wrong with that, for sure. But put that in context of the stories that we've been hearing, how people are so desperate for a better life. And then when they come here, they're getting taken advantage of. So I'm aware that, Lamardo and his wife apparently want to talk to me. And I want to say this. There's no way that you can talk to me now at this stage about any of this. I know too much. The people now know too much. What you need to do is you need to come talk to the people of the Cayman Islands. If you want to talk to me, we don't need to have that conversation behind closed doors. We need to have it right here on the show. Call in, join the live stream, and explain yourself to the people of the Cayman Islands. You got receipts? Okay. What kind of receipts do you have? I want to hear more. You understand what I'm saying? This is where we're at. Now, to be very, very clear, this concept of, oh, you owe someone a debt of gratitude. This is manipulation at its best. These people are made to feel this sense of obligation. And someone actually shared with me, now, you know, the Philippines is a very, very big country. It's comprised of thousands of islands, right? A lot of it is absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful country. But what has been shared with me is even where they're picking people from to come from. I'm just trying to find the details of that here in my messages. It's like they're purposely picking people who are a little bit more vulnerable, like they're not in the big city. They haven't had, you know, a lot of exposure. And so even that is egregious in a different kind of way. So this is what one person said. They said, Sandy, most of the victims are from the southern part of the Philippines. Most of them don't know how to do some club work, that they probably are still virgins. Don't know about that, but anyhow, let's go with it. And most of them really don't know nothing at all. She really wants that kind of people who are easy to manipulate. But the manipulation and the ease of manipulating people is very, very obvious. And the most vulnerable people are mostly from South and provinces in the Philippines. And they're saying, please give her justice. So, of course, people have sent me her bar, this karaoke bar. I'm told that this is the one now down by Macfield Square area, which is crazy, in the heart of Georgetown. And, you know, Real Deal Bar and Restaurant. I don't know what KTV stands for, but Real Deal KTV Bar and Restaurant. Come for karaoke, bucket of Corona. And, you know, get a girl while you're at it. Ooh, they have balut there. Oh, wow. Ew. Kakanin. Uh-huh. Oh, they have balut on the menu. Look at that. So this bar has been established 2024. Like we said, it was associated with Vine and Tap. Like they were, I guess, subletting a section from Vine and Tap. But then the permits were in the name of Vine and Tap. Like it's really weird how that arrangement would have been done. And I think we have so many questions in relation to that. Somebody's AI poster game is on the money here, boy. They're working hard for posters. So they're targeting the Nepalese community, the Filipino community, and the poor Nepalese. Let's not leave them out. I often confuse them, and my apologies when I do. When we were going around doing our Christmas, like messages and stuff, I always thought the young ladies at Zippy's fruit juice and smoothie stand, I always thought they were actually Filipinos. So when I was asking them, they were like, "We're not from the Philippines." I'm like, "You're not?" They look very similar. And they said, "No, we're from Nepal." I was like, "Oops, I'm so sorry." I don't mean to insult people because I know like Sri Lankans don't like to be called Indians because they're like, "Nope, I'm not an Indian." Although one time they were all one country, but still, you know, that'd be like calling a Caymanian a Jamaican. They're like, "No." Well, didn't Jamaica used to? No. They're like, "I'm a Caymanian," you know? So I guess Asian cultures are very, very protective. Like you don't call a Pakistani an Indian, and you know, they're like, "No, I'm what I am." So anyway, the sources are revealing that this particular couple, again, this would be Lamarda and his wife. So here's the Nepal live music. So they're again bringing in, I guess they got a Nepalese band here now that's playing as well. but they're bringing them in. They have their food options. I guess their food is a little bit different than the Filipino food. Probably some similarities. I love how they did this AI flyer. It looks all good and whatever till you get to the bottom where it says venue name. They forgot to change that on the AI design. Number 120 Macfield, and then they didn't put Macfield Lane. They have Macfield misspell. I'm just noticing all this stuff as I pull it up on the screen. Poor them. Tandoori Momo, charred grilled spicy Momo. I don't know what the hell Momo is, but there you go. Pork shrimp. Shrimp looks like it's misspelled. Doesn't shrimp have a? Hold on. I got some words. You know how you have to type them out to see if it actually is misspelled. No, shrimp is okay. Chicken skewers, flame grilled skewers, red snapper, head on, whole roast red snapper. There you go. So they have their Facebook page up for, what's the name of the business again? Real Deal KTV. KTV. And like I said, I have no clue what the KTV stands for, but there you go. This is their local nightclub, bar and restaurant. Not for nothing, but the food is not cheap. Filipino chicken curry, $15. Sam's chicken, $15. So this is one of the establishments that they're funneling the girls through in particular, and encouraging men to come through. And when they get a new girl, they're advertising them like they're a piece of meat, and that's being done with intentions so that you can come and see the flavor of the moment, I guess. What a hot mess. Such a sad state of affairs, quite frankly. All right. Hi, new bartender in the house. Meet Ellie. This one was just posted in February. Come and join us at Real Deal KTV. So one of the, if you remember the article from yesterday, one of the girls that used to work there, she said, this is like a soft advertising of the bartenders with intentions to say, oh yeah, this is the fresh meat that's on island. Come on out, guys. Here she is. She's ready to take care of her customers. Right? And supposedly, now one of the criteria for bringing people in is that you look a particular way. I guess whatever they think is attractive. Yeah? So she's supposed to be attractive. I mean, she's definitely not unattractive, but here they are advertising her. Because this is the thing. This is what's going to draw you to the bar. So this is a subtle way of saying, this is what we got available for you. Forget about the drink specials. Forget about the Corona bucket. That's really not what's important here. We want you to look at the new bartender, the new girl that's here, right? Ready to serve you. The funny thing is, I'm sitting here looking at their Facebook page. Let me show you guys something here. And this really can tell you a lot, right? So I'm looking at their Facebook page and I see that most of the posts get literally no likes. Nobody's liking it. Nobody's whatever. So you can go through from all the posts here, not a single like. Well, that one got one. Some person like that. But the vast majority of them have no likes. And then when you get to when they're advertising the bartender, woohoo! All of a sudden, you got 6 of them coming up. Yes, sir. Again, no likes. Now she's got 17. So they actually had to post her twice. New bartender in the house. And, I mean, I guess these are supposed to be enticing, sultry poses. I don't really know. But most of their stuff gets no likes whatsoever. I mean, not a single person. Not even y'all, not even liking the karaoke posts. But when it comes to ooh la la, there's a girl, let's see. Okay, well, he got a little video of some of the patrons got 3 likes. That one got 9. But yeah. And so it is interesting. New bartender in the house. Meet Annie. How many bartenders, and this one got 14 likes. How many bartenders do you guys go through? So if we are to, let me just go to the picture section because there's an easier way of actually doing this quickly. So if we go here to the group photos, we can figure out new bartender, January 28th. New bartender, November the 7th. I think these might just be customers. I don't think that's a new bartender. Okay. Let's see who this one is. They might just be patrons. But you can almost figure out how often they're bringing in a new bartender just by going to their social media posts, because every time they get a new bartender, they have to apparently let you know. Is this one? So they're advertising this one. Come on out. We're open till 2 a.m. I guess they don't have any male bartenders. Let's see. Is this a new bartender? Says, see you later. She's behind the bar. So let's assume she's a bartender too. It's an insult that they have her Cayman flag hanging on the wall. I'm going to be honest with you, given what they have been up to. Seriously, please take my flag down. You're disrespecting my flag. You don't get to come here and break our laws and then stick up our flag to pretend like you're somehow patriotic. No, Bobo. That not gonna work. So, so we can kind of figure out when they have new bartenders, because they're gonna stick them up and be like, oh, new bartender in the house. Come and see. Ridiculous. I don't see them advertising the new chef, though. There's somebody in the kitchen. Why don't they say new chef in the house? It's only the bartenders that matter. See, new bartender again. February the 18th. Is this a different one or is this the same girl? So, I mean, as she lands, maybe they were taking a picture of her in the taxi car or in their car, picking her up. I don't know. So they have to put this one up of her in a vehicle. Is this her again? New bartender coming. Like, seriously, am I the only one looking at these pictures and thinking to myself, really? The bartender's looking sultry, the food looking okay. Oh my gosh. Let's see how many more new bartenders we can find. Is this them? Unbelievable. Wow. So, yep. Meet our new bartender. Another one again. They don't see. I mean, listen, there's either two things that's going on here. It's either they're so busy, and I doubt that's the case based on the other pictures where I don't even see anybody in the establishment, but they're either so busy that they need like 20 bartenders, or they're getting and releasing bartenders very, very quickly because they don't even seem like they're lasting 6 months. So this is another one in November of 2024. How many bartenders they have, how many keep coming and going. All of these things, in my humble opinion, should be red flags for WRC. The fact that they are not. Again, meet a new bartender. So you had one come in September of 2024, November of 2024, another one came, sing with her, I mean, how many hello, I have seen bars a lot busier than this one can be. And it don't look like it's that big. Have fewer bartenders circulating through. Does WRC not pull any statistical data and look at any of this stuff? Like, why are you constantly, here's another one again. Rona Akal, why are you constantly, oh, this is when she was at Vine and Tap karaoke. Why are you constantly bringing in bartenders? Right? Why do you have 9 business licenses? Why are your your applications for temporary workers so exorbitantly high? Meter bartenders. Like, these are legitimate questions. I'm not trying to, but these are legitimate questions that you have to wonder. Why is it that no one is looking at these things and questioning what is going on? Eddie Powell liked this one. Yes, sir. Meet her new bartender. Her name is Sheila. Okay. And this is when they were at Vine and Tap doing karaoke there. So we know now that this Real Deals KTV started out at the premise of Vine and Tap. And I'm not really sure what the arrangement was there. But what we do know from what victims have said, and this is where it gets really, really weird to me, is because it seems like Vine and Tap had their work permit, but it does not seem like that's who was paying them. Because if you will remember the comment about don't tell Dawn that you're only making $800 a month and not the $1,000 a month. If Dawn is the work permit holder, how can Dawn not know what you're making? I mean, come on. I need somebody, I don't drink coffee in the mornings. So maybe there's something here that I'm missing. But shouldn't your employer, the holder of your work permit, know exactly how much you're making? It's not you telling them what you're making because they're paying you. So how can Vine and Tap hold your permit? And yet Nydia is paying you, and it's Nydia who's telling you you're only making $1,800 CI a month. And if Dawn asks, to tell her you're making $1,000 a month. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, morning, dear. Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm doing okay, but I continue to watch this unfold. And every morning, my stomach gets even more sick and sicker just watching this absolute BS that's happening in our country. And our immigration, our work, our CBC department has no control of this. Just sitting down listening to you go through those pictures and you mentioning dates. I think and you can correct me, I think you said there was one picture that was advertised in November that said, come and meet the new bartender. Mm-hmm. And then you said another one was in February. Mm-hmm. Automatically, my mind calculated November to February. That's 3 months. This is like a 3-month turnover work permit that these people are doing. It makes me sick to my stomach to think this is how the people that is in our law department has turned our country into, as far as I'm concerned, they have turned it into a prostitution ring. As far as they have turned it into human trafficking. When you want to get down to the root of the problem, it's them. They have allowed, they say, give me an inch and you take a damn, sorry, bad language, you take a mile. They have allowed these people to take a mile with what they've given them. They're not monitoring this stuff.
Yeah. And Marva, for the record, I don't think words like darn or damn gonna get us in trouble. But you can't be dropping an F-bomb like Carrie.
Oh yes.
So just to be clear,
I would never call in your show, even during that opportunity, and drop that word, because my grandmother would roll over in her grave and probably stick me. I mean, it makes me, you know what? Another thing that is a pet peeve of mine, and let me tell you, I say this all the time to my friends and to people out there. If it's one thing that I hate to see, is me going out there and talking. And I have nothing against foreign persons coming to our country and coming in here legally and working hard. And
Yep.
I have a problem with that. But you know what I hate to see? For me to walk into a bar room and go up to a bar and see every bartender behind the bar wearing my Cayman Islands island on a chain around their neck. I feel like reaching over and just busting it off of every one of them. You're not worthy to wear my country around your neck, especially now when you see that the majority of them are totally illegal. Who are you to wear that around? Things like this really piss me off.
That's why I said, Lamardo, please take down that Cayman flag out of your establishment.
Yes, take down my flag, because that doesn't represent me. And what you're doing there does not represent the majority. Even though we're in a minority now in our country, it does not represent the majority who truly loves and care for their country. Take my flag down. I don't care whether you're an indigenous Caymanian or not, because you are doing wrong. So take my flag down. Yeah. It is disgusting to think. And you know what? It's not that he's the only Caymanian that's doing it. It's many more out there that are doing it, that have found luxury in marrying all of these poor. It makes, you know what, I got to calm down, because I really get mad when I think about it. But I'm even more mad when I think about the fact, too, that here we do have now ministers in place that are trying to better our country, because over the past 12 to 16 years, this is why our immigration department has gotten out of hand. And here we do have ministers trying to correct a problem. And unfortunately, some of the correction is a bit harsh. But guess what? Then we have the Caymanians that are fighting against it, saying, oh no, you shouldn't go that hard. You shouldn't go. So what we must do, ease up on it to make those make Cayman Islands get worse. No, we should not, because guess what? If every 4 years they were trying to better the problem, it wouldn't be where we are now. Instead of us going one step forward, over the past 16 years, we've gone 25 steps backward. And now that you have a government that's trying to move us forward, but in order to get us there, we have to make some really tough choices and decisions to put tough choices and laws in place. And then you have the Caymanians fighting against it. Well, guess what? You can't have your cake and eat it all too. You either go with the tough choices of laws that now needs to be enforced or revamped, or you leave the country where it is. And guess what? In the next 8 years, we're totally doomed. That's all I have to say. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. So yesterday evening, one of the sources, and again, I really, really want to thank members of the Filipino community, the good members who are not tolerating this kind of nonsense, who are not encouraging, because again, within Asian cultures, there tends to be this wall of silence, like don't talk, remain silent, don't tell anybody anything that's going on to protect the quote unquote reputation of the community. Well, you destroy the reputation of your community when you actually remain silent, because now everybody, these things eventually come to light. Now everyone is going, oh my God, are we to trust any Filipinos? Because how is this happening in their community and they're not coming forward? They're not speaking up. So you do yourselves a disservice more than anything else when you sit back and you see people in your own community doing wrong and you say nothing. And I know the struggle because there are times when they have reached out to me about being scammed by members here in their own community, like when they were talking about Mary Jean. And do you know that some of the community leaders, and I'm disappointed to hear this about you guys, some of you in the Bayanihan community and others, because they have seniors in the community that they go to if they have problems, that advise them, whatever. Some of those same community leaders told them, don't take your problems to Ma Road. Like, keep it quiet, because we don't want people to know what's happening, that we have scammers here in our community who are an integral part of the Filipino community. And they were torn between, coming to me and trying to get some justice for themselves and what their community actually expects of them. So this is why I know it's a lot for them to come forward and to provide this information. And I really want to thank those who have done so. Good morning, caller.
Morning, how are you?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to say two things. One, I'm more disappointed in the Caymanian that's involved in this than I am in the Filipino, because at the end of the day, this is our country and our culture is completely different than their culture. They're used to these kind of things. They're doing what they know to do.
Mm.
We as Caymanians, that was not a part of our culture. That became something recently. That's a thing now. So I'm extremely disappointed in the Caymanian that's involved in this.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, if you think they are the only ones doing this, you are sadly mistaken, because I know of other bars that do the exact same thing.
Yep.
They tell their bartenders and they tell their workers, when the workers complain that men are touching them up and whatever, they tell them that's part of the job. That is what you're here for. And I think that WORC needs to investigate a lot more than just this one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean,
many more bars on this island that doing the same thing. And I hope that through this, those workers in those other places will be emboldened and brave to come forward as well and expose the other places.
Yep. And this is the thing, right? This is why, again, it's this particular instance appears to be very prolific amongst this community, but every single community has had the exact same thing. We have women from Honduras, Caymanians again. They're the ones who own the bars. They're the ones who bring them in. I was going to say
Caymanians. Yeah. I was going to say Caymanians are the culprits, because they are, whether they're, because you have some Caymanians that air quote own the company, right? But they don't really. They're still to blame. They're still just as much to blame.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thank you, honey child.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So Anna says, why only Nydia's agency? Well, Anna, if you've been paying attention, you'd know that that's not the case. And we have talked about others in the past. At this particular moment in time, we are specifically talking about her because there has been a chain of events that have led to this moment, and her and Lamardo being exposed in the way that they're being exposed. So for those of you who just jump into the conversation and make assumptions, let me provide you with a backdrop in case you've been missing shows. We had, and I can't remember what day it was now, we had the video from, and this is how this all started. We had the video from, what's the name of it there? Mykonos, right? That we shared and was discussed. This was a video where DJ Ryan Kirk Muhammad was getting physically aggressive with his girlfriend, assaulted her for all intents and purposes. So throwing wine on somebody's food, that's assault, whether you know it or not, right? And he called into the show and he said, oh, this isn't what it looks like. That's my girlfriend. We're all good. I can have her call. This is the short version now. And I said, I wouldn't have her call because that's not going to make a difference to me. Because I know how victims are. We've had victims on this platform that we have. The husband was arrested in Miami. The lawyer guy, he was charged, all this kind of stuff, almost beat this woman to death. And she still sent us a letter, a written letter via email, claiming that her husband never assaulted her. That's why they're victims. They're not able to stand up for themselves. So if you're a victim of domestic abuse or violence, and your perpetrator comes to you and say, call CMR and tell them that we're all good, of course you're going to do it. That's the dynamics of your relationships. And basically I said to him, don't have her call because I'm not going to believe her either way. What did she do? She's working at Palm Heights, waiting on a 1-year permit to be approved. Y'all listen to how bold she is. Does not even have a permanent work permit with Palm Heights. And she turns around on work time and decides to call into this show. And when she calls into this show, she was very rude, very flippant. Oh, I don't need to know who she is. And I don't need to know where she's from. Right? Having the most to say. And I was like, oh, really? All she did, honey child, was crack open Pandora's box. And evidently, that's all it took. So this one.
Hi, I saw your live. I'm watching the live. I'm the girlfriend.
Oh, you're the
one that
girlfriend?
you're broadcasting.
Poor you.
And I don't wanna discuss my name to you.
Okay. You sound
I'm
like.
not gonna tell.
Can I?
I am.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So I just want to let you know.
Yes.
That Ryan is very great guy.
Oh,
he's done so much for me.
I know. Can I ask you where you're?
Yeah.
Can I ask you where you're from?
You don't have to know, right? But I am the one in the video, and I'm telling you right now. I can tell you the full story of what is in the video, and I know what happened. But do not judge the person just based on the video, because I know what you're doing. That you're ruining someone's reputation that probably way known and have done so much for this island more than you. Okay,
more than
that
me?
person. That person.
Okay,
has done so
girlfriend.
much for me, and you don't have any idea what she's
girlfriend.
Okay,
let me
just do not judge the person just based on that video and spread it on social media and try to catch up whatever comments it is.
Girl.
This is just a relationship situation.
Yeah, and you're a victim,
really
and you don't even know that you're a victim. That's the sad part. You're gonna let me try to understand what you just said to me as the girlfriend, right? You're gonna call my show.
I don't have to know the side of your story or whatever you have to say. I was the one in the video and not you. And I'm telling you right now, you have to stop this, and you shouldn't be doing this to anybody. Don't embarrass anyone, and you don't know who the real person is, and you don't know who they are.
Are you kidding me right now?
Because even
have you heard of Stockholm syndrome?
Oh my God!
Do you know what Stockholm syndrome is?
You just wanted the fame, and I'm sorry I can't help you with that. But please.
Yeah, but have you heard of Stockholm syndrome?
Wrong information and wrong things. Okay.
Have you heard of Stockholm syndrome?
A really good person to me,
right?
And the people around him.
Okay,
I don't have time for you.
Oh, poor you. All right, so let's be clear now. That's what kicked it off. So when she called in and she made those comments, immediately people recognized her. Anna, I want you to pay attention to how this came to light. Immediately she was recognized, and people were like, oh, this is the girl who's been fired from multiple jobs because she's out here as a call girl, aka prostitute. So Vine and Tap got rid of her. Sandbar took her on. They got rid of her because they were tired of men coming to their establishment complaining. Now somehow she's locked on to Palm Heights. 4 months without a job, 4 months being illegal in this country. One of her own CBC officers allegedly, I think he's on the CBC side, WRC, CBC, I don't even know which side he's on, but one of them allegedly assisted her in getting the 4 months where she wasn't compliant sorted out. And you know what he did that for. I don't need to tell you, but fill in the blanks. After 9:30, we would tell you explicitly what was going on here. And he has a reputation with him and these Filipinas, right? Then we find out that her brother is here. Where is he? What Salt Creek Grill? Where is he now? One of them other restaurants. He's here doing the same thing with men, prostituting himself with men, and also has a record that we showed you proof of in the Philippines for distribution of pornography. Lies on his work permit, and he gets to come to the Cayman Islands. Then as I start to ask the question, how does this girl even get to Cayman? People knew she was a call girl moonlighting as a nanny in New York. How did she get here? Then we hear, Anna, this is where you need to pay attention. We now hear about Nydia. And by all accounts, you're mentioning somebody named Dolores. No one else has mentioned this Dolores. So again, or Dolores, whatever her name is, Pascal, feel free to send in information on her. What I do know is when we mention this LSJ, LJS recruitment agency, we now have been made to understand that this is the most prolific recruitment agency doing this in the Cayman Islands. So much so that in her own country, she has been banned from this type of activity. And despite being banned, she is still working with other entities in the Philippines in order to get people here to the Cayman Islands. So yeah, you've had an issue with Dolores. I don't know who Dolores is, but send in your details and send in your facts. Don't just get in the comment section and make one little thing about, oh, what about Dolores Pascal? What about her? We don't know her. So what you need to do is you need to provide details. People have provided explicit details about Nydia and Lamardo and what his name is, Lamardo? Is that his name? Yeah. And what it is that they're doing. So just saying, oh, Lydia doesn't offer health insurance and pension. What have you guys done about that? Send your proof, and have you also reported her to, that'd be another agency again. What's that agency's name? That's Labor and Employment. You got to make sure that you report her for those infractions. The infractions that Lamardo's agency is being accused of are numerous. From charging exorbitant prices for people to be able to get here, allegations of human trafficking, allegations of running prostitution rings, all this sort of stuff. Who on earth is, what do you say her name is? Dolores Pascal, and what is it that she is doing? She's not paying your pension insurance. Okay. We're going to get to that here in a second, because the Minister of Labor has indicated that this is a very widespread issue. So much so that how many millions are outstanding? Hold on, let me try and find it. So, Dolores not doing it, but she certainly wouldn't be the only one. Let me see if I can find this article that was just posted a couple days ago. And this demonstrates, I see it in court all the time, but this demonstrates that the vast majority of these cases, there is zero enforcement. Nobody's being taken to court. And guess what? By all accounts, they're still getting work permits. So no problem with you bringing up whoever the heck Dolores is, but you need to provide more details of exactly what it is that she's doing. Send in your proof. And you're the only person that I've heard talking about Dolores. Where are all the other people? The messages about Lydia and Lamardo are prolific at this point. And I'm going to read you some more of them. Anthony says the bars and the brat do the same thing, Sandy, by posting up new bartenders coming. That's nothing new. Just check La Esperanza, Tiger Bay, Pat's, Coral Isle pages. If the attraction to your bar has to be the women and has to be the bartenders, and not a drink special, so something wrong. Mary says, so WRC can't see the pattern? These are all red flags. We need serious investigation within our government departments. Romelia says, kaboom, caller, immigration is disgusting. They are the problem. Good morning, Stephania. Miss Anita says, I wonder in how many years we will look more like an Asian island instead of a Caribbean one. It looks like with many aspects of our tourism product now. Live Happy says, please note this trend is also taking place in the financial industry. It's across the board. WRC, government, Minister Miles, immigration need to unleash the beast. What are they doing? Come on. Jim says this isn't the only Cayman Islands license holders on island that's up to shady-ish. This is nothing new in Cayman. It's been going on for years, but try to get things changed. They do the right thing, call people out, take out all the receipts and through the proper channels and see how long it takes and what the outcome is. I completely understand. And that's why I'm talking about it, because we get it. There is a lack of enforcement. There are issues that leads the question, as Strong Wilt says here, is there corruption in immigration? I don't think there's widespread corruption, but I think there's certain officers who are definitely abusing their position, and they're helping foreign nationals to break the law right here in their own country, if they like you, if they can get in the sack with you. And that's a problem. And we need to weed those men out of CBC and WRC. We're going to have to get to the point where, I'm sorry, but if you have an affinity for a particular type of person, you should have no contact with those individuals in your capacity at work, because y'all can't help yourselves. And you know which officers I'm talking about. The crazy thing is, everybody seems to know who they are. Like when these conversations come up, it's like, oh, officer so-and-so, officer so-and-so, and officer so-and-so. So how y'all know exactly who they are and nothing's being done about them? Put them in a different capacity where they will have no interaction with Filipino women, because clearly they can't help themselves. They got a problem. They have an addiction that is beyond their control. If you had a police officer that allegedly was, addicted to cocaine, are you going to put him in charge of the intake process for all the cocaine bags that are collected? No. So y'all know that some of these officers, based on their behavior, and it's widely known in the community that they can't keep their hands off of a Filipina woman, regardless of who she is or what she looks like. Why are you even having them escort them back to the UK, having personal contact with them, being able to talk to them, get phone numbers exchanged, promising them that, they can find a way to bring them back and their families, going and vacationing in the Philippines and all kind of foolishness? Those people should not even be officers, if you want my humble opinion. Go find another friggin' job. You're a disgrace to the uniform that you wear. There's more, Miss Sandra. When some Filipinos ask her for help to find a job, she charges way more than she should in accordance with the law. Well, you see, there's not even any law around recruitment agencies, and maybe that's something now that we need to start thinking about. Some of my friends told me that she charges them more or less $1,000. She also asked people to help her in filling out work permit applications, other requirements, and submit it with a promise that she will pay them if the permits get approved. Listen to what this actually said. And this is why my question to Dawn at Vine and Tap, I know she was messaging me when people were saying, Sandy said your son, but I've not heard from her since then, because I've asked her a few questions. Oh, we did not have her first work permit. Really, Dawn? Check your records again. You've conveniently disappeared now from the messaging system. You were bold enough to message me when you thought we had gotten something wrong. Okay, it wasn't your son, it was your stepson. But come again. You also have, as a Caymanian, some explaining to do. And it's around this thing. The fact that there are Caymanians who are allowing their legitimate businesses to be used by these people to put in permits for them, or to claim that they have contracts with them when it's like janitorial services and so on and so forth. I had someone recently explain to me that they had, this was a Jamaican Caymanian situation, but they were using the services of this company. They came to them and said, oh, I need you to sign this contract because I need to provide this contract to WRC to demonstrate to them that I have enough work to justify this, this work permit, right? So they were sending the lady to clean the house, and she didn't work out for whatever reason, bad attitude. She didn't work out. Now, the woman which is the client, who had signed the contract, right? Most of you don't even think about this. That contract allowed him to get at least one or more work permits. So when you say to the business, I no longer need your worker or your services, does it also occur to you that they're still utilizing that contract to get permits approved? So you need to keep copies of contracts that you're signing. And then you need to contact WORC and says, I'm no longer using this particular company. I know I signed this contract. The contract has now, I've given them notice, my apologies. And the contract is now null and void. Because this is what these companies are doing. And it's unfortunate because the so-called legitimate Caymanians are then calling me about, WRC don't want to approve my permit. And I have this little lawn business and I need permits and I need workers and da-da-da-da. It's because of other people who are abusing this system. This is precisely what is happening. So other companies are helping to break the law. They're helping Nydia's company. And in fact, she has agencies in the Philippines, although the Filipino equivalent of the FBI have tried to shut her down. She is now, in the words of her own people, creating ghost companies or working with other fake companies there and family and friends. Someone told me yesterday that one person here has been able to get 50 family members here in Cayman. My God, I can't even think of 50 family members anywhere I go that I would be wanting to take. I don't even think I got 50 family members to take. How? And there's a bigger problem here as it relates to this. Because remember back in November of 2025, right? When Minister Miles made the comment about human trafficking, and then the honorable, not so honorable most of the time, Juliana O'Connor Connolly jump up about, well, you're trying to accuse the former government of human trafficking. Maybe the minister had a point. Maybe he had a point. Because when you're turning a blind eye to all of these things, are you not complicit? Are you not part and parcel of the problem? So they might not be out there themselves trafficking, but God knows y'all are certainly involved in some of this foolishness. Indirectly, when you know what's happening and you do nothing about it. Kenneth, Georgetown Central MP Kenneth Bryan also challenged the comments. I'm reading from the article here now, where he's claiming that, the minister, we didn't allow any employers to bypass any channels. Y'all need to take accountability. It's a civil service that is doing it, but when y'all don't do nothing about that, y'all need to take some accountability. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning. I'm not going to be too long. I just want to say 3 words. Money laundering.
Aye.
Racketeering.
Aye.
Embezzlement. Along with prostitution and human trafficking. All right.
Thank you, honey child. And this is the thing, right? A lot of these, it's kind of like the gambling thing, right? When we talk about gambling, a lot of these offenses are then tied to other much bigger and more serious offenses in their own country. And it's only a matter of time. Right? It is only a matter of time before it comes to our shores. So you can't put this in a box. So when Lamardo and his wife think that, they can show me receipts where they paid for permits. No. There's a much bigger issue here. answer the questions about the allegations about prostitution. Why are you taking out so many temporary work permits? I'm not saying that you're not paying for work permits and you're not taking out work permits. That's not what the allegation is here. The question is, the scam is, you operate what you would call almost like a cabal of human trafficking, where you bring in people on temporary work permits. You don't oftentimes have sufficient job for them. They're only here in a temporary. You're underpaying them. You're lying about their salaries to government officials. You're putting them in a poor financial position. And then you have the audacity, Lamardo, to tell them how to dress, that they can't have relationships, that they must do this, they must do that in order to get a man, keep a man, and bring in clients to your establishment. But no, Anna, Nydia is not the only one. Let's talk about Marcella Gabato, who has Cayman status, now lives in London. She is partnering with Teresa. Let's back it up. There's another one, but you got to come with facts. You need to give me facts, documents, information. You can't just say, oh, Dolores, not doing this, not that. Show your pension statements. Show your insurance payments. Are you the only one that she's doing this to? What kind of business does Dolores run? I don't know who the hell Dolores is, or Delore, whatever her name is. Who is she? How many employees does she have? How wide scale is this? Here's another one, Teresa Delphin, I think it's pronounced Stout, married to an American man. Now she's in the US, hiding there while her employees, no salary for 2 months. She had this cleaning company called Au Pair. And of course, Teresa and Nydia are big time friends. So we got to call them all out to be clear. Nobody is only calling out Lydia. Y'all send your facts and everybody is fair game. All scammers. So let's get to this one in a second, but let me finish reading these comments. So they say that she run errands for her too, but as always, these are just empty promises, going back to what y'all are posting on social media. They couldn't say no to her because aside from the money, the debt of gratitude too. On behalf of their victims, thank you. This feels like we're getting the justice that we've been praying for. Hello, Miss Sandra. This is one of Nydia's relatives. They are playing victim right now, accusing victims of biting the hand that feeds us. We paid for this help, so I don't think we owe her or her husband anything. I also forgot to mention that she has a partnership with some agencies in the Philippines. Two of the assistants that work for one of the agencies asked me how much I pay her because Lydia said I'm not supposed to give them the money. You see all this kind of foolishness that's going on? 150,000 pesos, I don't know what that is in US dollars. And she pays them like 40 to 60,000 pesos. So she's ripping off her own Filipinos here and there. But hold on, there's more. To be clear, there is more. Our email address, in case you need it, tips@caymanmallroad.com. Send in everything you got. Because now we have a person reaching out saying, dear ma'am, this was 10 p.m. last night, 10:20. Blessed day. I read your news article about some Filipinos doing human trafficking in the Cayman Islands. I'd like to inform you and attach a copy of warrant of arrest issued from a court of law in the Philippines for your reference for other Filipinos doing the same scheme. The 4 individuals are now in Cayman territory and still doing the same modus operandi, and hoping to hear from you soon. Thank you and more power. And you better believe we actually have a document here that says it's a photocopy. Yes, let me enlarge it so I can see it. And it says Republic of the Philippines Regional Trial Court. And it has the name of 1, 2, 3, 4 people, illegal recruitment committed by a syndicate. So that means that they're running this is like a racketeering scam, right? You're hereby commanded to arrest, and it lists the 4 people, their addresses of illegal recruitment committed by a syndicate, and bring him or her forthwith before me to be dealt with by law. The bail for the release of the accused in this case is fixed at not bailable for illegal recruitment committed by syndicate, may be furnished by the accused for a bondsman in the form of corporate surety, and then they have all the different sections and rules and so on. You are required to use at least 1 body-worn camera and 1 alternative recording device, or a minimum of 2 devices or such number as may be necessary to capture and record the relevant incidents in the execution of this warrant, pursuant to the rules of the use of body-worn cameras in the execution of warrants. Apparently, they got some rules in the Philippines, which is interesting, issued by the Supreme Court, and which became effective August the 1st, 2020. Under my hand and seal of oath, the 5th of April, 2024 at Paranaque City, presiding judge. So the allegation is these 4 people are right now in the Cayman Islands, and there's a warrant for their arrest in the Philippines. Caller, good morning.
So that means that our enforcement officers, whether it's RCIPS, CBC, whoever it is, are going to locate these 4 people and deport them back to the Philippines, right? That's what that means, right?
I am willing to bet you the farm and the pig that they don't even know nothing about this. I'm going to send it to them now.
Well, yes. Well, once they know, that's what that means, right? They're going to deport them back
I would
to the
hope so.
Philippines.
I would hope so. I would sure hope so.
I hope so too. Because if not, we have an even bigger problem than the problems that we already discussing.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, right? I'm going to say this right now, and I don't want any Filipinos to get up in their feelings, but this situation is so widespread with their own family. I mean, their own countrymen, that I think that our government would be smart to curtail the number of work permits that we're issuing for Filipino nationals right now. We should have enough already here. If they have legitimate jobs, you can stay here until you get to your rollover period and whatever. But as it is right now, we have got to figure out how to curtail this behavior. Our enforcement agencies clearly do not have a good grasp on this. They don't have a clue. So they got to start putting stuff in place. We're talking about databases, fingerprinting, all that stuff. None of that will work, first of all, if these people have not already committed the offense and are in an existing database. You see, we get this false hope. When I hear commanders say, yeah, we definitely need a fingerprinting system. How useful is a fingerprinting system if you don't have anything to compare it to? That's the first thing, right?
But my thing is, right, like these documents, these court documents, right, they have to be publicly available.
But our people don't seem to be able to search and find them. Remember now, the Philippines is a big place.
Understand. When you submit a work permit, right? What I would love to know if WORC would come on your show to answer some questions, because when a work permit is submitted, right? I know you have to have like the medical, the police record, all those things, right? What due diligence is done? What goes on behind the scenes? Because I can go online easily.
We're taking people at their word. So let me be very clear.
But that is crazy. That is absolutely absurd. If there is no due diligence being done, then we are to blame for what's happening right now.
Of course. So we take people at their word, first and foremost. Our officers seem to not have the ability to do proper online research. I don't know what relationships they have with other agencies, but now I'm even questioning this, right? I mean, it's crazy. So in this instance, this is an arrest warrant, right? So technically, these people have not yet been potentially even charged, and they certainly haven't been convicted. So they're not going to be in any database for those types of offenses. But why can't we also, I mean, I guess we're going to have to start to do it if we're importing such a huge portion of the population from the Philippines. We need to start asking people, their government officials, to send us arrest warrants as well. Our enforcement agencies should have relationships with the corresponding agencies in the Philippines.
Exactly. If we know that a huge majority of the work permits, right, are from the Philippines or Jamaica or wherever it's from, we should have a relationship with authorities there. We should be able to communicate with them, send an email to someone, whoever, and say, hey, we got this work permit. We're just making sure there are no arrest warrants for this person.
Yeah, it's just like, remember when
like, we're in the age of AI, and you mean to tell me we can't figure out if someone has an arrest warrant?
Do you remember, Colin? Do you remember the case that we CMR brought out about the woman with the committed bigamy, the Filipina lady? I'm like, how is it that they didn't know that she was already married in the Philippines? When she came here, she didn't put on her application that she has a husband, she's married, has kids in the Philippines. So when she popped up here to get married now to somebody else, that wasn't flagged in any kind of a system. It's like our systems don't work. What I can tell you, I don't know what kind of computer system they have, what kind of research system. They clearly do not work. Whatever is there just ain't working. Jim says it sounds to me like the system's in a complete mess. It is.
Yeah, we definitely need to get a hold on this because we're too small. Like, we are too small for this kind of stuff. And it's going to get out of hand. If you think that the 4 or 5 or however many cases of HIV, if you think that is a problem, if we don't get a hold on this, we're going to have way more problems just like that. Because we're too small. We're too small to have these things happening. Yep.
Well, this is the tip of the iceberg. Thank you so much. This is a tip of the iceberg. You know, it's just crazy. This is it now. So I will do. I'm here to do my part, which is not just to talk about this. I will forward this warrant, and there's a reason why I'm not indicating who the people are. I will forward this warrant to the government of the Cayman Islands, and I hope to God they actually get on it and do something about this. Okay? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Y'all don't even understand. Oh my gosh. Here's another one coming in for canine security. Like I said, it's not just her. We could have a program just around these employers and we wouldn't get to talk about anything else. That is how prolific these abuses are. So I'm not trying to give the impression here that this is specific to just Nydia. Like I said, it does appear from all accounts that her offenses are particularly egregious because of the number of times she has been able to get away with this. And also the amount of, there's another one here about UMC. Who's UMC Limited not paying staff? Someone come to them, Bobo. Don't worry. But I mean, it's a lot. Like, it's just like, what? Hold on. There's another person who sent an email about Nydia as well. Lord have mercy. I'm trying to find them. There's another one that had sent something about her. Trying to just find them on my email. It's a lot. There's another one I know I saw by email about her owing one person one pile of money and not paying it and all kind of stuff. I mean, it's just message after message. It's crazy. So this one, yes. Here it is. All right, so we'll get to that one here in a second. Give me a second. There's just so many. I mean, I'm having a hard time even keeping up. Good morning, Sandra. If you think the Filipino women are bad or terrible, the Filipino men are even worse. They say they are gay and will do anything to know a gay Caymanian. Well, I mean, I don't think that in and of itself isn't the issue. I mean, I don't know if they're gay or if they're not gay. We're not here to lambast people because of their sexuality. But I'm aware that some of them are also running prostitution behavior in the gay community as well. So nobody is being saved. I don't care if you're gay, straight, bisexual, trisexual, or multisexual, or no sexual at all. You need to be paying attention to the conversation. All right, let's get to a few more of the comments here. So it has nothing to do with their sexuality in that sense, but what we do know is that it's fair game. Give yourself a kaboom. Society would like to turn a blind eye to the underbelly that supports the economy. I agree, because it happens with all nationalities. If that is advocated for, it should also be advocated that government curtails permits for Spanish workers, Nepalese, Indian, Jamaican, etc. How many Dominican women are apparently here also involved in prostitution? It's so widespread. To be fair, apparently it happens in the financial industry as well, with some being escorts. It's not only bar staff. Sounds to me like CIG, the elected arm of government, should be having a conversation right now about the crises that this country is in. And maybe we put, and I'm saying this, understanding the implications that this could have on the entire country, but maybe we put some sort of a partial moratorium on work permits, right? That we not 100% sure what's really going on here. There will be some that will be easy to recognize as, okay, this is legit. We've checked our sources, But if you cannot check and verify what these people are doing, it's just too much. Our officers don't seem to have the skills, the tools, the knowledge, the understanding to do their jobs properly. And that is a problem. And absolutely, like I said yesterday, I don't personally care where they come from. Here's another one. Please, ma'am, don't show my identity. They're all afraid. And that year, she doesn't have agency. The problem is when they recruit and the people start to work, sometimes just 1 month or days, they will be fired. They will fire the person and recruit again. And to another Filipino, she also want to rent her own apartment with high price. Again, Lamardo, we know, has these units in Cayman Brac. I think Curtis was telling us about them yesterday. All of this stuff is connected. You can imagine bringing someone here, paying them $800 a month, and then you go turn around and have them live in a container. Who was it yesterday was telling me that apparently there's some containers or something somewhere about that they have these people actually living in a container. Again, where's planning? It's like, have all of our agencies fallen asleep? What the heck? Living in a container? And then gonna charge them rent for that piece of ish? Lord Jesus. So you pay them nothing and then you charge them high price for rent. And you should pay the complete money for you to get your original documents that she's handling. And the agency she's telling is not her own agency here in the Philippines. They just only working for the permit. Also, the problem with the company that they deduct for the insurance, but they cannot use insurance because the employer didn't pay the insurance. And also there's no off time. There's no off. I think that's supposed to be time. Sometimes you fall asleep because of continued working and they didn't give warning. They terminated their people right away and recruit again. Let me see. Please, this is the first message, I think, to the one that I just read. So let's read it in order. Ma'am, I want to share something about Nydia. The year is 2019, but please make sure my identity will not show even my name. We got you, girlfriend. Hello, good morning, ma'am. I'm from the Philippines, and my husband is the one who was recruited with Nydia. She recruits a lot of people before, and she get lots of money, around $3,000 Cayman money, get it from us to work in security company, the K9 Security, not giving salary for 2 months. Who owns K9 Security? WRC, Labor Board, anybody awake? We know it's not 9 o'clock yet, so some of you may not be at work, but go and raid these people for God's sake. Right? Come on. This is big now. Mr. Manderson, Jeremy Scott, Minister Miles. If you guys are not having Chief Officer, what would his name be? Oh gosh, who's the Chief Officer under Minister Miles for Border Control? Bruce Smith, he's had a border control. If you guys are not now sitting down having an emergency meeting after this week's exposés, we have a bigger problem than we think. This is not, oh, Sandy, just having a moment. Oh, she's hitting menopause. She must be up in her. No, this ain't got nothing to do with none of that. This is information that is coming to me. These poor Filipinas and Filipinos are entrusting me. They are scared for their lives. And yet they're still coming forward. We have to acknowledge that. The Nepalese community is too quiet. But them, let me be very, very clear. If you think the Filipinos are a problem, the Nepalese, in my humble opinion, are even worse. But that one's sneaking up on you guys. We've seen a couple instances in court. Chief Magistrate Hernandez, right? When she sentenced one last year, I think it was, I was sitting there in court, and you know what she said? She said, it is a shame that CBC, WRC did not do further investigations into this man producing fraudulent documents for people to come to the Cayman Islands. Because she said, he not no top level person. He's at best the middleman at the bottom. Had they investigated further, had they done a proper investigation, this is what the court is saying, yeah, we would have found out where the head of the snake is. This was a low-level investigation. I'm trying to find the story because I wrote the story myself. And I remember her saying they should have continued to investigate this and find out more, but they're not talking. Right? She said if they had continued to investigate, I can't find the story right now. Was this one? No, Renee wrote that story. There was another one, man. I can find it. I think he was, was it fake document, fake permits or something he was into? And she said the investigative arm needed to do more because basically they're allowing his associates to get away because they did not carry out a thorough investigation. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy.
And let me be very, very clear. If you have hired, right, hotels, restaurants, bars, if you have hired a Nepalese national, you now need to be on high alert that this is very, very prolific in their community here in the Cayman Islands, where they're getting false documents. They're doing the most fraudulent and all sorts of behavior. And Nydia was also doing some Nepalese permits and stuff as well. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, Sandy. Interesting topic this morning. But we have just scratched the surface we have not gone into depth as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as people talk about the Jamaicans, let me tell you, the Filipinos, they are worse. Okay? When it comes to scamming and everything else. 2 years ago, I was in court, and this is a scam that has been going on for some time, and I don't know, our government, different administrations seem to be missing this. People that come from a country that English is not their first language, they have to take an English test. They pass it, then they're given the permit. But we get a lot of Filipinos that come here, right? I don't know whether they have to take the test or whatever, because, they speak different languages. However, for them to get a work permit, they have to suffice that they can speak and read and understand English.
Mm-hmm.
However, I was in court like 2 years ago for a speeding ticket. And there was a Filipino national, a man, that was there for raping another Filipino woman. Now, all of a sudden, he could not speak English. That the government needed to have an interpreter for him. And this is someone that had been given a work permit. So if he couldn't understand English before, why would he need an interpreter now? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing, right? Let me say this, because I've known people who work as interpreters, even for the Spanish community. And what it is that yes, I've seen sometimes where they're here and they don't speak no English at all, which is shocking because, again, how the hell did they get here on a work permit if they don't speak any English? But also there is a requirement for an interpreter because what happens in court can be somewhat complicated. So although they may speak and they may have functional English if they're working in a bar or restaurant, when you start talking about court matters and using certain terminology, maybe their English is not that extensive. So the courts will operate on the basis that everyone will get a interpreter if they request it.
Well, English is a precise language, and every word has a precise meaning. So if in our immigration laws saying that you must speak, read, and understand English for you to gain a work permit, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Mm-hmm,
you know?
Mm-hmm.
But you see, this is the other problem that we have. We have a lot of the white Caymanian business owners that they are prejudiced. They prefer to employ these Filipinos with a little turn-color skin and the long hair. My case in point is, I've gone through the South Sound community many, many different times, especially in the mornings or afternoons. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, 95% of the people that live in South Sound, white people, mm-hmm. they have Filipino helpers.
Nanas, they want to call them nanas.
Well, whatever they want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of them have them as nannies, some of them have them as helpers, some of them also have them as caregivers.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Well, I mean, listen, to be fair now, they do have a reputation for, being very good with children. Like I said, they're people pleasers. So if you want people to not discipline your children, probably get a Filipino helper because they can just let them do whatever they want, make them run around like they're animals. They're not gonna be stringing them up like your Caribbean helpers. So maybe that's why certain people prefer to have them. And they're listen, we're not gonna get into all the nuances of it. But yes, there are people who would prefer certain nationalities over others.
Yeah, well, just before I go, mm-hmm. the other side of that is when they have a lot of these Filipino helpers, that especially got young children and so on, mm-hmm. they are teaching those children their culture, their language, and so on and so forth. And then when the parents try to talk to the children, children keep up the phone.
Again, let me be very clear. If you have a helper or nanny and that person is spending more time with your child than you are, of course, there's going to be an impact on your child. It might be
That is
cultural.
my case in point. That is my case.
That's on the parents. I mean, I see some of these parents who the mother doesn't even work. She doesn't even have a job, but yet she has a nanny, and the nanny spends more time with the children.
That's right. Yeah.
And to me, that's just wild. But anyway, thanks for the call.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Anna says, yes, nobody's complaining about Delore Pasquale because the workers are scared to lose their jobs. She's just similar to Nydia's situation, who is using Cayman status and get away with everything. Sandy, you're talking about catching all the culprits inside Cayman, but you are being selective of who to blame. No, I'm not. Regardless of people being afraid, even of Nydia, they're still coming forward. So Anna, again, I think you're missing the point. I can't talk about Delore when I don't know Delore and I know nothing about her. What I know about Lamardo and his wife has come to me from sources. No one other than you has ever mentioned Delore. So what do you want me to do? I cannot make up stuff on Delore when I don't even know who the hell she is. Afraid or not, people can reach out to me. My telephone number, 324-1612. Message me on WhatsApp. Email me, tips@caymanmallroad.com. I am getting search warrants from all the way from the Philippines now on people. You don't think people are afraid? Of course they're afraid. Losing your job is going to be the least of it. Because the day our government officials finally wake the hell up, because a lot are asleep at the wheel, when they wake up and said, no more of this slackness, we're going to put a moratorium on all Filipino Nepalese workers coming to the Cayman Islands, then what you think will happen? You think they're going to be afraid of jobs then? You're not going to be able to come here anymore. No more husbands, no more cousins, no more nothing. Right? And I know the scam. I mean, people have been complaining to me about Palm Heights. Thank God DART has finally taken it over, and I hope to God that they can clean it up. But it's the same thing there. We have a guy there working in some kind of management capacity, Sunil. He's here, and Sunil has brought in wife, brother, brother-in-law, everybody to work at Palm Heights. Now, we know how this works, right? When you come to a country, normally, invite people like, oh, great, life in the Cayman Islands is wonderful, come. Especially when they have no other options. I mean, I think about this in the context of myself being married to a foreigner. Marlon does not have a single family member in Cayman. He's not inviting nobody because they have options. They're qualified engineers, nursing professionals. One was our sister-in-law was recruited to go work in the States. She already has U.S. citizenship and everything already because she was considered a valuable employee. Right? Nobody else not come here talking about they want to come live in Cayman. They have their own lives. They have their own businesses. They're engineering experts. They're running, government departments and agencies and so on. How can you have one person here and every single relative must then come to Cayman? We can put them in charge of housekeeping. We can put them in charge of the spa. And I'm not saying that there's inherently wrong with, referring people, but what I do know that happens is when they start to bring people in, they're giving them preferential treatment. That's a Caymanian who might have gotten a chance to work in hospitality or a job that then they're pushed aside. They're purposely pushing Caymanians out of employment in order to bring in who they wish to bring in. So I'm hearing the stories constantly. Sunil Kumar Mala, I've heard your name called so many times in my ear hole about what's going on at Palm Heights and how you bring in every relative here that it's shocking. Neutral Space says, why has government addressed temporary work permits and put restrictions on them? They should only be allowed for specialist short-term jobs. Can you call and ask why the reluctance? Anybody has any poll with Minister Miles, because this is a question that I suspect he should be able to answer from a policy perspective. I know they're doing their best to clean up the legislation, and it's going to happen in phases. What is the overall plan with these temporary work permits? Because they need to stop. Remember when they were trying to push a couple years ago, temporary work permits now are going to require full medical. We're going to do everything the same as one. Oh no, the businesses push back. You can't do that. And who are those businesses? Neutral Space and all 600 and how many people we have here on the live stream? Who are those businesses actually owned by? Caymanians, Lamardo Scott and others. And Caymanians push about like, oh no, not gonna be too much. That's gonna shut down our business. Blah, 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 blah. So the government is trying to balance like, okay, we're not trying to hurt small businesses. We're not trying to hurt Caymanian businesses. Right. And yes, a lot of businesses do rely on work permits. We have to take out permits. But at the same time, we're trying to close these loopholes, stop the importation of undesirables, stop the abuses of the work permit system. Here's another one, Kayla Davidson again, stealing pension and insurance. Well, she's actually in court. Workers paid double. Her and her son, because her son is Damian White, the one who always running the car scam. We featured them before. Amelia says, why are they able to take out work permits with no proof of contracts? Oh, they produce contracts. But a lot of times those are fraudulent contracts that they're producing. Or, as I said, sometimes they might be legit contracts, but that customer is no longer even a customer. So, government, let's have a coming to Jesus moment. Now, this is very, very draconian and heavy-handed. But maybe y'all need to start thinking about how are you going to do this. I'm not saying that this is the right way. But the same way now for these small businesses, to get 9 business license, they're only paying the application fee. You're now saying to them, if you want to continue to get the micro and small business, what would you call it? Incentive where you don't pay the licensing fee, you're going to have to give us bank account statements. How about you start asking for bank account statements, right? Even if they are going to pay the fee, because some of them, and this is only in the more serious cases where you suspect fraud. Anybody, Lamardo, you claim you want to meet me and you can show me receipts. You know what I want to see from you? If you being completely honest and you have nothing to hide and you and Nadia claim that you're on the up and up, sit down and let's look at your online banking transactions. Show me the money. How is the money coming in? Show me what's in the bank. You can go pay almost $400,000 for a bar, overpaid for it basically, for a liquor store in Cayman Brac. Good for you. Show me the money trail. If you're being completely honest. You see, the funny thing about honesty, right, is it does not need a crutch to stand on. It's like if somebody said, wait, Sandy, getting her money from? Every dollar I make can be accounted for and connected to a legitimate contract for services. Nobody, I don't care if it's $50 or it's $1 million, nobody can't call me and say, Miss Sandy, I want to advertise with you. Can I just send you money? No. They will tell you, the first thing I say is there's a process. You have to fill out, there's 2 different contract forms. There's a long-term contract form. And then there is, like, if they're just doing one social media post or whatever, there is documentation that has got to be filled out. Before I will even raise an invoice, that document has to be filled out, submitted, and signed. And that is open to scrutiny. That is how it works. When you're on the up and up, You have processes in place. Good morning, caller. Hello, caller. Hello. All right, folks, when you call, if you're not ready, we got to move on to the next caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I'm ready.
Okay.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good. You see what some of the problem that we have in now? Back in the day, it was even like with the fire station. Mr. Kirkland made sure he hired Caymanians in positions, and not just any. He made sure it was those that were qualified and those that understand the ground roots. We now have so many different foreigners in so many different government entities that they will look after their own. You go into the glass house and you see who's going behind the counter now. It's hardly a foreign. It's hardly Caymanian. It's a foreigner. I won't call nationalities, but take a check out it now. So we're in a crisis that is bigger than us, because these people that are allowing it, these people that are in the positions, we talking and we can't dig from where the seed is planted. We're going to have a big, and we're having it, major problems. And the problem is then the Caymanians come in and they bar us, and then they give their own, and they bar us and they give their own. So we're already outnumbered and we have a big issue. I applied for a maintenance man. I have how many apartments? I had to produce my bank statement for maintenance man. Now, I'm sure there are others that go. And somebody said, oh, I have I don't have that amount of apartment, but I have a maintenance man. Okay, good for you. So we have an issue there. And the issue is, we can say all we want. If it's the same people steering the ship is going to go offshore. So we need to start with who is in charge. We need to get back our own, and we need to stop fighting our own. Let me tell you, we fight as crabs. Caymanians is like crabs. They just fight one another. We need to stop it because we're so outnumbered. And guess what? They laugh at us. The truth is they're laughing at us. And do we prefer to try to come back into unity and save our islands? Or do we want to fight and let everybody take over? And here we are having discussion after discussion. And where it's going to go if the root is still not dig up? The root is going to grow back and back because it hasn't been touched. If you just cut it off the top, it's not going to be gone. So we have an issue, and it's bigger than just what we're saying. That's why things that we see is happening, because the right person is in there for you. It doesn't matter who or what we say. And we can't have our glass house full of another nation. You know, I travel so much, and I hardly ever see another nation behind certain desks, certain places, but their own nationality. And I am not biased. I love people because I'm always in someone's country. So it's nothing about that. It's about the right. It's about the right way, right? And that is the truth. So I don't expect to go anywhere and get certain jobs. I've been, and I didn't even apply because I understand. And it's only fair most of the time, right? You will always be who you are, even though we acquire these documents to say that, okay, you're American citizen. Listen, I wasn't born there. Yes, it's a piece of paper. So you really, truly only who you are. For me, yeah, because one day they could decide on the law, change the law, and throw me out. But when I come home, they can't throw me out. You understand? Regardless of what I do, who I am, that's where I was born. So we need to take care of our own. Have a blessed day all.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
I've just received another Filipina. Morning caller. Are you there? All right, y'all not paying attention. You can't call them to be paying attention. We have another Filipina that people are looking for. She used to work at some doctor's office, so we'll be posting her up a little bit later on. But let me just get through to at least one more that we need to highlight here today. And then we can see. So there's this one. Okay, she's married to this American guy, I guess. So here's her story now. Her name is Teresa Delphin Stout. She is hiding in the US, apparently, is what is being told. And she has a cleaning company called Au Pair. And there's also another girl named Miss Jenilyn Toyang Latino. Jenilyn Toyan Latino. We're getting them all now, honey child. Looking for her as well. This girl brings Filipinos and does the exact same thing as Nadia. Jen is married to Caymanian. Can we find out which Caymanian fool married her? I'm sorry, but I have to call y'all a fool because there's no one that is coming to my country and doing this kind of ish and gonna be getting away with it. Under no circumstances. Oh my God. I would smack Marlon upside his head for abusing my country like that if he dared to even think about it. So Jenilyn is another one. Who is she married to? Which Caymanian fool? So we can start just posting them up. I don't give a cahoots. Caller, good morning, honey child.
Good morning.
What a mess.
Yeah, absolutely. You said something just now that I agree with, but I would like to expand on that a little bit. When you said about the work permit for these nationalities, we need to take that a step further. And just like how they put the visa requirement on other nationalities, this needs to happen with these people as well. They come in here, you have one here, and by the time
let me just understand what you mean by visa requirement. Because they're coming in on work permits, right? So they're not coming in on a visa. So what visa requirements?
No. Let me finish. One of them might be here on a work permit, but as they get here, their family members are there coming in as visitors, and they don't leave. That's why we have them sleeping on the beach, sleeping in cars, sleeping on the garbage bags, and so on. And you ask them, well, why are you here, sleeping out here, and so on? Where do you work? Well, oh, no, I'm waiting for a job. How did you get here? My brother's here, my sister's here. And they come in, like I say, as visitors. But the whole purpose of the trip is to find a job. And nobody is following up on this. I asked that question some months ago. I was speaking about a specific nationality, and I can call the nationality. It was a delivery person who came to my house. First time in my life, he was seeing me and I was seeing him. And the first question he had for me was, did I need someone to work as a, you know what? And I said, no. Do you know someone? I said, let me just tell you something. I said, you don't know me and I don't know you. And you need to be careful because I could be an immigration officer that you're posing this question to. I said, if you have family on this island that visited you, then they're here as visitors. They should not be seeking employment. I said, I could pick the phone up right now and make a call. So be very careful. And I asked the question, what are the requirements for these people coming into the country? I'm not talking about with a work permit. And it seems like there's no requirement for them to come as a visitor. But immigration needs to zoom in on those as well. I remember when there was a time that the immigration department, they were hunting down every Jamaican on every job site. And I think what has happened is even though the officers have changed, they have not updated their mentality. In other words, it's not just the Jamaicans that are coming here overstaying or working illegally anymore. But the focus, unfortunately, is still on the Jamaicans. And I am not being biased here. What Jamaicans come here and do, you know what I say? If they were our only problem, we wouldn't have a problem, because that's the one nationality immigration will deal with. The court will deal with two, and that's Jamaicans and Caymanians. So that is what I wanted to share on that. And they're not, like I say, following up on the Filipinos. They're not following up on the Nepalese. They're not following up on any other nationality. They're all slipping through the cracks. And it's most unfortunate because a lot of these people, the officers, they are in relationships with them. So they get through and their families get through. So we, the people, have to police it, bring it to their attention, bring it publicly, and that way they can't make excuses and say, oh, I don't know. And just to finish, about the temporary work permit, if I understood correctly, when I listened to the proceedings in the House, there will be no more temporary work permits. That too was abused. Temporary work permit is for the purpose of, say, you have a company here and you're having a board meeting. So the directors are coming in. They're granted a work permit for the purpose of attending that meeting. And it's a one-time thing. But that got abused. And these temporary work permits, as you now know, it keeps getting expanded until they're now citizens. So thank you for what you're doing. This needed to be exposed. Let's get all of them. I don't care what the nationality is, because we have all of the nationalities here doing wrong, but no one is policing them unless you're a Jamaican. You're then hunted down and you're caught, and whatever they have to do with you, whether it's to imprison you, send you back, or whatever, that happens. So let's see that happen for all of the nationalities.
Thank you so much.
Cut.
That happens. So let's see.
Well. Wow. We are getting deep in the shit today. Thank God it's 9:30. Woo! What on earth? Okay, I'm trying to work through it. So Jen is married to Caymanian. Teresa helped her to get business license permit for Jen's Kitchenette. She brings Filipinos here and charges them $2,000 or more. I don't know who she's married with. Whoa. So Jenilyn, you now being highlighted as well. Damn. What is wrong with you people? Every single one of you. And I agree with the last caller. I did not know that they didn't require a visa to come to Cayman. Well, government, where's my little bell? Wake up. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Time to wake up. Yes, we need visas. We need visas for all of them. Jesus Christ. Are you serious? I'm looking at her friend list. Jenilyn now. Oh, we got a lot of friends in common. She looks like she wants to be friends with lots of Caymanians. Someone train her and tell me who she married to. So, Markeisha, Graham, Jake, Ruth Anna, Chris Saunders, Lisa Cummings, Roy McTaggart, Jimian, she friends with you too. Chad Bodden. Oh, God, she got a lot of Caymanian friends. Kendall Conder, Randy Smith, Dominique Pearson. So one source is saying, Lord Jesus, that she was married to Kendall Bodden that works CUC. Kendall Bawden that works CUC. But looked like she might have left him already. They said, laughing out loud, she's a prostitute. I can tell you that. The sister's name is Jennifer, both of them. So there's a Jenilyn and a Jennifer, both sisters, and they both prostitutes. Now this is where it's at. Jennifer Lotino and Jenilyn Lotino. But somebody said she already left him and now it's Mr. and Mrs. Evans. Which Evans this is that she with? Hold on. Let me show y'all his picture so you can help identify which fool came on in. Man, this one would be. Whose child is this? Somebody says Jenilyn works at Indigo. God. Who's he? Who's Evans? So is she not married to the Bawden guy anymore? What the hell? Marcella Gabato. Another scamming situation. No, man, this is too much. I'm sorry, but this is beyond. What? All of this mix up story? Jeez on peace. The couple have Cayman status. This is the hold on, let me get their picture up on the screen because gosh, there's so many. I have no hard time keeping up with what's going on here. Hold on. Okay, next one up. This couple has Cayman status, but they not live in Cayman. They live in London and accepting Filipino who wants to come open business partners with them so they get income from it. Someone told me she is Teresa's business partner. Not sure, but they open 4 to 8 businesses. Wow. There are so many loopholes that these people are taking advantage of. This is beyond ridiculous. Jeez, peace. Lord God. Wow. Michelle at Palm Heights. Filipina Michelle. Thank you. Because you opened Pandora's box and damn, I didn't know Pandora's box had about 50 million rooms in it. But you're bringing out, thanks to your phone call, we started on this path and I am pleased with the ones that we are digging out. We're going to dig them all out. Here, this one. Teresa helped Nydia to process some of her business licenses. Teresa business is still running while she's not on the island because of her niece who's managing the business. Okay, hold on. Let's get a picture of the niece now. CBC, please tell me that you're paying attention this morning. Are you listening? Come on. Don't make this valuable information go to waste. Please, I'm begging you. My God, this is such an embarrassment to us. Okay, so this is the niece. Hold on. Let me pull up the picture. This is the niece now that's running the business. Oh my God. Jeez on peace. So does the niece have Cayman status? How's she running a business in Cayman? Sharon, Austria. This is the niece. Running the business for the couple who live in London. And their names, once again. What are names is again? Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't even know. And then Nydia and Sharon. Let me show you that one. They're big time friends. So Nydia and Sharon, where are the two of them at now? Hold on. Yeah, man, they're running a whole criminal enterprise in this country. Nydia and Sharon. There we go. Big time friends. But it all comes back to, give me a second here now. Let me see. The lady's name is Marcella. So Marcella, what's Marcella's last name? We have a last name for Marcella? So Marcella and her husband, that's these two These two, they're the same persons living in London and got businesses in Cayman that are making them enough money where they can live in London. Have it make sense? And they're being tied back to this one, who is, Lord God, what her name is again? This now is Teresa. And I've heard allegations about Teresa and her businesses running all kind of scams, including now she's disappeared. She's not paying workers, all kind of stuff. Who was it that sent me those? Send it again, honey child. So Teresa and Jenny, we got pictures of them too. CBC, I hope you write down all these names. I know it's a lot to take down, but here's Teresa and Jenny. Put it together. There they are. And this is the business trade license name that Miss Jenny's using to sell work permits to Filipinos to come to the island. Jenny's Kitchen. Okay. All right. Immigration, Jenny's Kitchen. $2,000 for a work permit. Wow, I really, she's married to Daryl Evans. This is the little group, another customs officer, Cuban inside the video, and Amanda Brown. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hold on, I can't even come to that one yet. Lord Jesus. All right, then they have babysitting services. This is the au pair one, $10 an hour. Aupair.ky. The Filipino lady, Marcela Gabato, she has Cayman status and she resides in London. How did she get Cayman status? So she's a partner with Teresa running the au pair business. And then I think somebody was telling me about how the au pair business scamming people and so on and so forth. My God. Wow. Penny Rivers is who owns K9. Oh, we had done a story on her already. Let me get back to that post because I think I forgot to read the message because so much shit is coming in. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I think I forgot to read that one. Wow. Okay, so I got a couple here that I got to read. All right, let's read this one. This one says, some Filipinos here in Cayman, once they get status, they will do work permit scheme because some of them think they will not get deported because they have status now. The pattern is the same with Delore, Nydia, and Gabato. They're all Caymanians now. But the WPH scammers, there are more diabolical. My suggestion is that Filipinos should get the international NBI clearance, not police clearance, because police clearance is easy to get. NBI clearance, which is like their equivalent to the FBI, is better because when a person has a hit, outstanding warrants pending, etc., they cannot leave the country. Oh, thank you so much for that. CBC, WRC, here's a good tip. This is a great tip. Take it and run with it, please, and thank you. Neutral Spaces says another issue is that WRC accepts any old copy of documents. Not even the originals are seen. You know what kind of fraud that allows? The Traveler says probably best to call them in Manila, Philippines to verify the documents and make sure it's an actual verifiable number that you're calling as well. One phone call it take. Busy signal, says Gio. How did she get Cayman status? Well, a lot of them, which we discussed a couple days ago, are marrying Caymanian men who appear to be dumber than a stack of bricks. They're easy prey. And then once they're married to them, they take advantage and they bring in the whole family, the whole cabal, the whole clan, and the Caymanian men just sitting there like they not got no sense. Reminder that government introduced restrictions which are still in effect on work permits for Jamaicans, forcing employers to hire outside of that jurisdiction and turn to the Philippines, India, and Nepal. Why no restrictions in the Philippines? You know, this is one of those perfect examples of unintended consequences. Now, not that we probably didn't need diversification, because you can't have 90% of the workforce being Jamaicans either, right? But that has fueled the market that we're now talking about that are here scamming our government and our people. That very policy fueled bringing people from other countries halfway around the world. Unfortunately, you know, they were just waiting for the opportunity to start coming here. And now look at the mess that we're in. And we still have criminals coming in regionally. We still have murderers coming in from Jamaica, and we don't know that they're murderers because they don't yet have a conviction. And again, that's where a fingerprinting system will only go so far. Our fingerprinting system is only going to be as good as the databases that it is linked to in other jurisdictions, which might not be particularly good at all. Good morning, Sandy. Yes, ma'am. I heard and talked about one of the Filipino bartenders in Real Deal. She said that she spent money, 500,000 pesos, which is about 7,000 CI, just to come here. And she was paid $5 per hour. That is why maybe they're trying to do extra service to the customer just to survive. Nydia is not easy. Lord Jesus, I keep an eye on the time because I've got an 11:15 appointment this morning. Someone says, Sandy, Jeremy needs to get called out. He's the head of the snake. I mean, he got a lot of questions to answer, I do believe, as head of WRC. I don't know about the head of the snake, but he definitely head of WRC. And there's a lot of questions here now. Oh, Jesus. I want to go back to this K9 one. Let me see where that is. Okay, here we go. So, hello, ma'am. Morning, ma'am. I'm from the Philippines, and my husband was recruited by Nydia Scott before, and she got lots of people around 3,000 Cayman money, got it from us to work in security. Stick a pin. You know what it is to get together 3,000 and 7,000 Cayman Islands dollars? You heard that's $500,000 in their money in pesos. You know the prostituting you'd have to do in the Philippines to make 500,000 pesos? You'd be prostituting for 20 years. That can build homes. Let me be very, very clear. A lot of these families are turning to loan sharks to get this money. And that in turn is why they are afraid. And in fact, separate and apart from all of this, there was one who reached out to me, not connected to this at all, but just shows you what's happening in the timing, begging me for help. And I could not understand what it was that she was doing, because she was saying, oh, you know, this person was supposed to be helping her and she borrowed all this money and now she doesn't have it. And, you know, they didn't provide any help for her sister again and da-da-da-da. And I was like, I don't get it. Why are you borrowing the money? So that she doesn't have to provide documents? Like, the whole thing never made any sense to me. And now that I'm learning all of this about how the scam works and how they're taking advantage of people, I now understand a little bit more about probably what was going on, but she did not want to come out and say it. Right? So she was looking for, I'm going back to my messages now. She was looking for a lady whose name she does not even know. And I was like, what the fuck? How are you going to send money to somebody that you don't even know? It never made any sense. I was confused by what she said. She wanted me to post this, but I'm like, lady, I can't post it if I don't understand it myself. This was she reached out from March the 8th. Good evening, Miss Sandy, 8:39 p.m. Can you please help me what to do? Someone scammed me here at Cayman. $1,500. Please help me. Yes, Miss Sandy. And I said, well, give me the details. I really need you. Someone scammed me $1,500. She promised me that she's going to help me to accompany my sister to the airport in the Philippines. She claims this is not about the permit, but I now not believe in that. I only know her name is Jin. She's a nanny here in Cayman. She blocked us and I can't reach her. Can you please help me to locate her through your page? And so she gave me the telephone number. Let's call her. And I was like, okay, so what's her name? She don't have her name. How the hell someone is supposed to be helping your sister to get here from another country and you don't even know her name? And you send her $1,500? No Filipino can answer my calls today. Hello?
Finished,
Hello?
press the number sign or just hang up.
That one went straight to voicemail. Sorry, I had the phone call thing muted. Let's take another number. So she don't even know that this is how they're scamming each other. She does not even know who this person is.
You have been redirected to the mailbox of the number 13459268805.
So she went and borrowed money and has to pay 15% interest on the money that she's borrowed, loan sharks. And now she's trying to find her and she doesn't even know her name. So she has the bank transfer document, but she has said, just send it to this account, which she did. But that account does not even have a name linked to it. Like, I don't understand how these people are operating. Honest to God. So we have a screenshot of the conversation. And she gives her, but you see, she has the BDO cash transaction. This is just a mess. Hello, good morning.
Hey, Chandra, you're doing a great job here.
Oh my God.
Good
Girl,
morning.
I got a headache. So it says this is her bank account in the Philippines. So she has a bank account number but has no name. You can imagine. No, sir.
I know what you mean. They're a high grade people that are doing a lot of scamming with them, and every post that they go into, they are making sure that they're pushing a Caymanian out or causing. I had a call just on the weekend up from Naples about how Filipino bragging about how long she's been here, and the reason she's been here, she came from the time she was 15 or 16 or something like that, and the reason she's still here is because he played the corporate game. And if you know what the corporate game is, you know how you get along if you do it right in the corporate game. So it's all the suck up and all the other stuff that goes along with it. And that's been going on in our country for quite a while. And one of the things I pointed out to Michael, because of the bullying that so many of these foreign people are doing on the job, pushing the Caymanians out, causing them to be uncomfortable, saying things, even profanity being cursed at them, which is against the law and they can be charged for. A lot of them are doing all of this stuff, but they're getting away with it because of the color of their skin. And then the Caymanians are the ones that keep pushing them out. And then the next week, then it's a family friend of theirs from the same country that is coming in then and filling those jobs. And if the immigration department, which I told Jeremy I was going to meet with him, if they were doing their jobs, they would see. That's one of the main reasons that I implemented the IAT. Was to make sure that we were getting Caymanians that were going to put the jobs and say, no, go back home. And we put a lot of people off of this country. We did. We told them they were not going to get away with it. They couldn't come. There was no chance. And they appealed it. There was no chance. They wanted to go to court and fight for their jobs to find. That's fine. They could go and do it. But if there was Caymanians there to fill the jobs, they weren't going to get it. So the very first group that started that off and board members started, we really worked hard in getting people to do what was necessary. But here again, we have all of these MLA members that are sitting back and getting a big paycheck, but are not putting anything in the law and clauses to make sure that they are here working, they can bring their sisters, their brothers, and whatever. And that's what's flooding our place and ensuring that all of our kids coming home for scholarships can't get in. As a matter of fact, I was hoping that my cousin Wilson would have done something better, where he implemented and said that every job leading the government admin and the government departments and stuff like that, that all of these kids coming home from school, they had to find place for them in their department. I mean, it takes real guts to do it, but he knew that from the time we worked together, and he called me over in 2009, and it should have been done because his portfolio is one of the only portfolios that had the most Caymanians in it. And Juliana came in and destroyed it all. He Caymanian, but she destroyed it all. Her and Lynette and Shadani, they destroyed it all. They pushed all the Caymanians out and kept only who they wanted to keep in. And then of course, it's split now with another nation, of course, and several other nations are in there doing jobs that Caymanians could do. And this is the problem is, that's why I have the problem then with the DG, because he sits and makes this big money, but he does not investigate things, especially if you don't have a chief officer title. So if you're not a chief officer, or you're not somebody in a certain circle, you are nobody but Swiss cheese. And that is my problem with my country, because the bottom line is, and you know what? They really don't care because of all the plans that I see that is coming up for all the countries, and everybody's on it following like a little donkey, like a little dog, all these dark things that everybody's got planned. It's really sick. It's absolutely sick. The Cayman Islands was a leader in banking, a leader in tourism, a leader in so many things. But what we got are people that are sitting back now and then we're like, you tell me what you want, I'll give it to you. Billionaires tell me what you want, I'll give it to you. This one say what you want, I'll give it to you. And they're doing that's what they're destroying the employment market. And another place, Subway. I have met with a couple of ladies that when I did some work, I went down to help to send some stuff to the St. Elizabeth Hospital in Black River. I just wanted to give back, honoring the doctors that saved my life. And of course, Jamaica saved my life twice, because when my mom was having me in 1996, I became breech. When she came home from New York, my sister was having a grand wedding, which she was giving her. My dad wasn't here, he was at sea. So she got in trouble with me, and the quickest place for them to get me was to UE. So they got me to UE, and they saved her life and saved my life at the same time. But then when I had my left hip surgery, which took 6 hours, 27 days later, I ended up with a massive blood clot hitting into my left lung. And Dr. Turner picked up on it that night at accident emergency, did everything, got me in ICU, they got me on the blood thinners, they did everything that was necessary. And for a couple of months, I was on that. And now when I travel, I have to take the vaccine injections and take the stuff with me. But I did that to honor the doctors. But when I was going off, this is what I did not understand, and this is what really bothered me, is that I had a lot of people come in and help me pack the stuff, and some of these people were from Subway, they worked, and they said, Subway hires people for stealing, and they didn't call any nationality, so this must have been all, no, Subway has Filipinos, it has Jamaicans, it has several others, but they've fired many people, right? But what they do is fire them, don't prosecute them, so they go back into our society. They get another job.
Yeah, well, this is what I said about Michelle, who started
there.
Yes.
And there are thieves being fired from somewhere else, but because it's not noted, it's not put in there. We should be deporting those kind of people. They're stayed in our society.
Well, this is exactly
because some of them actually carry the name Caymanian status and Caymanian.
Yeah,
this is wrong.
Caller, this is why I said. Even Michelle, because what people seem to miss is when someone cancels your work permit, they have fired you. That is what the cancellation of a work permit means. So why are we allowing employers to fire people over the same person over and over again? And there are no questions that are being asked about that.
No question. And then also the law should have it that once you have been that kind of dishonesty, you're stealing, and you've been caught for that or whatever that the atrocity is, right? Sometimes one or two cases maybe innocent, because you know, as well as I do, Sandra, that innocent people go to jail all the time. And there are people that will come on your job with a demonic force and whatever and cause you havoc. I know what the hell I went through. They wanted me to fight on my job so I could be fired. But I was stronger than that. What I did is hire an attorney and got my ass out of there, because that's the bottom line. I was not going to take it, because if I took them, they were going 6 weeks and I was going to jail for the rest of my life. And it wasn't going to be one, it was going to be 5 young one time. So the bottom line is we are allowing this to fester and fester, and then they say, people coming here in this country and saying, hey man, yes, we can't hire them. They're nothing but thieves. I remember a particular company that had a baby shop, and that's exactly what she told me. She couldn't hire Caymanians because they were the biggest thieves, but it was the Caymanians that started. When this little store was very small, it was the Caymanians who had working here. Well, I say, I don't know which one of them that you work, but I say, you got 7 Filipinos in here, and I can tell you one thing. You can take my word, they say I got good, not or whatever. You can take my word. I say in 5 years, you will have that company. The company no longer exists.
Thank you, my dear. Leave me there. Yes. I do want to clarify something, because of course we always want to ensure that we get this 1,000% correct. So if I'm not sure about something, or I hear something, I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. I am going to get the list. Where can I find the list of countries? So what I have done is I've reached out to the head of CBC, and I can confirm that Filipinos do require a visa to be able to travel to the Cayman Islands. So I'm going to get the full list so that we all have that URL available and we can check it for ourselves. But he has reliably informed me that, yes, they do require a visa. So no one should be here without a visa from the Philippines.
If they got travel without them, though.
Well, if they got here without a visa, then that means they're being smuggled into some container.
Because that's who American Airlines hired. You mean to tell me we can have an international airline come to Grand Cayman and we go hire foreign nationals, give them permanent resident Cayman status to run and represent an airline that's been with us for years, and all of the Caymanians coming home with degrees and so forth. We can't give them a chance to be to be at the airport and run run our own airport. It's disgraceful when we come into the dialect that we that is not a Caymanian dialect. It's disgraceful.
Yeah,
when I look at
I do want to provide more information, because I'm hoping CBC will use this to launch their further investigation. So, caller, I do have to go shortly because I've got an appointment.
Take care.
Thank you, my
Take
dear.
Care.
So, WORC, Immigration, CBC, here's another tip for you. Marcela Gabato is the daughter-in-law of a well-known Filipino illegal recruiter, Estela Gabato. So I'm posting all of this publicly for the benefit of the people of the Cayman Islands. I'm giving you everything that I get by way of tips and information. So they have it. The question from the authorities, they are listening. They said, is Estela Gabato connected to any local company? So let me put this. I got multiple messages going on here. So Estela Gabato, who's she connected to in Cayman? Which Caymanian she done went and got married to? Because we got to ask that question. So let's continue. It took me like 50 million hours to read this one message. I'm so sorry. So they paid $3,000 to work in security at K9 Security, not giving salary for 2 months. Eventually, my husband resigned. There is a syndicate here where we check her in our country. Nadia Scott doesn't have an agency. Even in Cayman, there are a lot of Filipinos who are being scammed by Nadia by getting more than $6,000 CI and up. How can we file a case against her? And we want her to bring back the money. Well, they just bought a bar for almost $400,000, a liquor store. So listen, clearly Nydia and Lamardo have money. Yeah? And you start to sue their backsides. And maybe this is a good idea for someone listening now. Help these people recover their money. And start up a new business, Caymanians. Jump on this. set up get a business license, debt collection, and help these poor Filipinos get their money back. Because you see what's going on here? Lamardo, I'm going to suggest you don't talk to me because I might box you in your fucking mouth. Seriously. Don't reach out to nobody about talking to me. I don't think that's a very good idea. I'm not a violent person, but you make me want to be violent. Talking about you got receipts. Receipts my backside. There's too many of these messages. Too many of these messages. Oh my God. How can we file a case against her? Child, I might even have to help you with my debt collection service. I'm not ready yet though. I have to set things up properly. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not taking on these kind of cases. Lord Jesus. This would be pro bono work. Let me see here now. There's a syndicate. The person pay for her and start working. The security company will not give the salary and also just give 1 or 2 months. They terminated the Filipino and started to recruit again. The problem is most Filipinos are afraid of her and also to the company. We want justice because most of the Filipinos who's been recruited by Nadia Scott just borrow the money just to give them work. How can we file case if we are now here in the Philippines? Please help my fellow Filipinos and us to get justice. Jesus Christ. Miss Brenda, I'm going to get the whole list of requirements. Now, having said that, we do know if they're coming by way of a country where they were required at entry to produce a visa. So, for example, they're living in the U.S., right? They don't have to produce a visa to come to Cayman. Same thing with Jamaicans. If they have a U.S. visa, we will accept that, assuming that the U.S. has done their due diligence, which is not something I would assume at any point in time. Oh, hi, Zeus. You ain't here the whole time? Oh, my gosh. Hello. Oi. He comes. He wants to be put up. I didn't know you were here. You ain't here all that time? Oh, my sweet you look like you always tired. Oh, my goodness. I had no clue you were here. You smell so sweet. You smell so good. Hello, sir. Hi. When did you get in here? I didn't even know you were here. Such a sweet little boy. What a mess. Why should we help? I ain't helping shit at all. The fuck, this ain't my responsibility, says Cayman. Oh my God. The tea is hot, says Aliano. Check the requirements. Yes, I'm going to get the whole list, Miss Brenda, because I think we need that for sure. So sweet, but money's sweeter, Sandy. Lord, what a mess. Miss Sarah says, Miss Sandra, try to coordinate with Senator Rafi. Yes, do you have a way for me to contact him? I'm actually going to reach out to him. What is the best means of, he's a senator there in the Philippines, and he also is well known because he has a show called Senator Rafi Tulfo in Action. Does anyone have like a private number for him? Because I hear he is the action man in the Philippines. See what this one say? Faster than lightning. He was looking for somebody and found him real quick. Rafi Tulo Cap Dan. Oh my gosh. Give me a number where I can figure out how to get a hold of him because he is the man. He is the action man. I see a group on Facebook, but I'm looking for him specifically. Any of the Filipino community know how I can get a hold of him? Looks like these are a lot of like supporter groups and stuff like that. But let me know how to reach him. Because definitely, he's very popular in the Philippines. Definitely, we need to let him know about this situation that's happening here in the Cayman Islands. I think he would be very, very interested in this story. Let me see. Rafi Tulfo. Presumably he has a he has 22 million followers. Oh my God. Yes. Oh, he has a website. All right, let me see if I can get a hold of him. Because yeah, we're gonna get him on the job. Oh, he has an email address. Oh, I'm gonna send him an email. If anybody knows him, let him know Auntie Sandy in the Cayman Islands is messaging him. Another one wanting to remain anonymous. Jesus Christ, the phone lines and the emails are burning up this morning. This one is a woman named Shelly who owns a salon on Eastern Avenue called Vogue Salon. Oh boy. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. The list is just ridiculous. All right. Wow. Better you reach out to Senator Pacquiao. He's a senator now? Are you serious? Oh my God. Did I read this one already? We need to hold ministers accountable for the agencies with enforcement responsibilities and ensure that proper procedures are being followed. A thorough audit is needed to understand what is really happening. One of the key challenges is the shortage of staff across enforcement agencies. We also need greater clarity on how the processes work. For example, when a permit is canceled, who is notified? DCI, WRC, enforcement, and CBC informed? There needs to be more transparency from these agencies. We should engage the directors of DCI, CBC, WRC, and DLP to ask the right questions so we can understand the situation based on facts rather than assumptions. They may very well be doing their jobs, but could be constrained by how the legislation is written. Well, one of the questions I have as well is when you have an organization or an employer that does not follow the law and does not cancel a permit as is required by law, and they don't notify WORC of the cancellation, which now we know that in the case of Michelle, Sandbar did that. They didn't cancel her work permit for 4 months and she was here illegally. That gave her 4 months to be able to find employment in the Cayman Islands. Sandbar has broken the law. So my question is, going back to the original situation over a week now with Michelle, right? How is it possible that Sandbar is not being penalized as a result of them breaking the law? Have they been penalized? So she gets a pass. She gets to continue allegedly because she is, in relations with one of many men, but one of them being a CBC, senior CBC individual. So she gets a pass. This is DJ Mohammed's girlfriend now. But what about the enabler, which would have been Sandbar, who was her employer? What happens to them? Are they not going to be held accountable in some way for allowing this person to stay in her country as well? Because they contributed to it. Boy, talking about a glam up. Look at that. Going from that to that. Yes, sir. No wonder she loved DJ. What his name is, Ryan. But seriously, they should be penalized. And they should be penalized where it hurts the most, which is in terms of the work permit. When they submit work permits, no. The last time you had a work permit, you allowed someone to overstay in our country for 4 months. You did not cancel their work permit. That allowed her to then go to Palm Heights and to get a job at Palm Heights. You don't get to stay here and get another work permit approved just like that. Start to penalize these companies, these employers where it hurts. And I bet you then they'll do better. All right, this person says, this person has the following to say. And flashback, this is funny. 1 second, let me just pull this one up. Zeus just wanted to sit in my lap. That's the only reason he came to me. And flashback to Carrie thinking that she was Trinée, and another clear example of how she often, very often, gets details wrong and spreads false propaganda. Aren't the Filipino officials supposed to be on island now? When were they coming? Was it today? Oh, shoot. I don't want to miss it. I know you mentioned you reached out to them to meet while they were here. Every Filipino human trafficking scam, it's safely guessing there are 3 similar Jamaican human trafficking cases, but the Jamaican culture handles situations much differently. I'm just saying. Keep in mind that Elvis said that the funds to purchase his bar for $350,000 were financed through CIBC. So we really don't know if Lamardo, et cetera, et al. Have cash or assets. Well, listen here. If you can get a loan of $350,000 from the bank, you have to have proof of cash coming in. That doesn't mean it's staying there, but you do need to have evidence of cash coming in and probably some assets to secure that loan as well. So if he didn't pay cash for it, although the streets are saying he paid cash, if he didn't pay cash for it, then the question does become, what assets does he have? I think it's clear. The bank not giving you $350 on your word. You got to have something to secure that loan. So he's got to have something somewhere. And listen, they're scamming new people every single day. So I don't have any doubts that they got a bank account somewhere with money. So they're victims. You just got to find the money trace. Please, no appointment tomorrow. We need a full show tomorrow. But KY Forever, we almost gone into an extra hour. Are you getting a full show and then some? You guys forget the show is only 2 hours, I know y'all forgetting it. This person says sandbar penalized ain't going to happen because the owner is chummy with several government ministers. Who the hell owns Sandbar? I don't know who owns Sandbar. But of course they should be penalized. Name them, because I don't know nothing about who owns Sandbar, but I'll be glad to know here today. Hi, Miss Sandy. This is the phone number of the wife of Senator Raffo, who has helped victims before. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. Hi, Miss Sandy. Please hide my identity. Oh, my gosh, you poor people. Oh, but thank you for reaching out. I really appreciate you guys reaching out and doing the right thing. It's important that we work, together on this, because this is making the whole community look bad. If you guys don't speak out, we're going to say you're complacent in this and you're part of the problem. Kindly hide my identity. If they want to file a case against her, they can. If the money has been sent through her Philippine bank account, they can use it as pieces of evidence. But if the money has been handed in the Cayman Islands, unluckily, the Philippine law is already out of jurisdictions for that. But as far as I know, Nydia is using her Philippine bank account for all her transactions, so that can be used as piece of evidence. Thank you and God bless. Oh, thank you. That's good to know. So she's maintaining bank accounts there. Oh, that one is sweet. Yes. Here's another one. I'm going to post some of these up on social media because these are great tips. Some Filipinos here in Cayman, once they get status, they will do work permit scheme because some of them think they will not get deported because they have status now. Oh, God, we need to change that. You can always get deported once you have status, as far as I'm concerned. The pattern is that Delore, Nydia, and Gabato, they're Caymanians now, but the WPH scammers, work permit, I guess that is, they're more diabolical. My suggestion is that Filipinos should get the international NBI clearance, not police clearance, because police clearance is easy to get. NBI clearance is better because once a person have a hit, outstanding warrants, pending cases, etc., they cannot leave the country. Even a warrant 20, 30 years ago, they cannot trace, because some scammers in the Philippines, it's like they will go to different police stations and get some clearance there, but the NBI clearance is different. You see, we're learning so much now about the processes in the Philippines. This is fantastic. And this is precisely why we need to have talks like this and discussions like this, because, people are telling us how it works and what to do. Okay, I thank you so much. You're welcome, Miss Sandy. We're also sick and tired of these scammers, and also a reform of all Filipinos in Cayman. Because for me, the NBI clearance will help screen more Filipinos. Filipinos are world-class workers, cruise ships, hotels, hospitals, and nannies, but Cayman needs more tougher screening. NBI international clearance will help that. Very good, very good. Thank you, ma'am. We can get them all. We are going to get them all. Keep it coming, honey child. Thank you so much. This person has said, and then I'm going to wrap it up so I can I need to be on time today to my appointment. And I've got several appointments today, so let me not start to get behind for the day. But this person says, let me see here now. Good morning, Miss Sandra. Even though I did not like how Mr. Miles spoke to you on the program, but can you kindly ask if he can put a halt to all Filipino nationals until they implement an NBI clearance only? Miss Sandra, tell her to send you the Western Union receipt. She have a name. Well, she sent it directly to the bank account in the Philippines. No name. No name. Isn't that wild? Fosters Filipinos have the most family members working on island. They bring their wife or husband 6 to 7 years close to roll over. Then after 9 years, go on their wife. Okay. Fosters Filipinos. You mean that work at Fosters? I'm unclear. Then after 9 years, go on their wife or husband permit. Okay. Penny Rivers, she used to be Butterfield in the 80s, K9 Security. That's another hot mess. They need to shut her business down because as I remember, we recently reported on her owing one pile of money for pension and insurance and whatever, not running a legitimate business, but yet still getting contracts here, there, and everywhere. No, sir. This one says, Jesus Christ, how many times we have to repeat the same expletive story? Tell them to go back to the previous show. In my opinion, CBC, WRC, and immigration positions should be given to homegrown born Caymanians, not status holders or those married to Caymanians. We have a lot of young Caymanians available for training. But girl, hello. It's your homegrown, horny like a fucking, I don't even know what animals are horny that they can't help themselves. It's your homegrown Caymanians that are the problem. The ones that I'm thinking of, they're not no expat Caymanians. They're not no Caymanians that got it through marriage. Those are the homegrown ones. Born ya and disgusting. Because they're making their penis do the thinking for them. I don't even know what animals are especially horny. I don't know. Because not even animals as stupid as them. So rabbits and minks says, oh, minks, really? Well, definitely rabbits. Yeah, rabbits. So they're worse than rabbits. So how is that going to solve the problem when it's your own people? They need to get fired is what needs to happen. They need to do proper investigation into these things and start letting some of them go. Cayman chicken? They're prolific. Ay. I don't know. She sent it to Neem. I don't know how you can send something to Neem and don't even have a number. You can send it to a bank account in the Philippines and don't even have the name. Jim says, boom, boom, give up and we'll get what you want. My goodness. Can we do a day for construction, landscaping, and car wash so people can call out the corruption? Okay, well, we can do that tomorrow if you want. CMR needs a Scammer of the Month series, keeping this on the forefront and ongoing. Jim, at this rate, I feel like we could have a whole show just about scamming and would not run out of content. Damn. Marshall says, yes, CMR and its listeners are learning, but is CBC, WRC, and Border Control paying attention? I sure hope to God somebody's paying attention. Gabby says in case she needs to run back home, she will be well set. Exotica says, of course, there was a Caymanian partner in what is coin? Where au pair. There was a Caymanian partner in that. Oh, really? Who was that? What did they know about Teresa's behavior, and how are they being held responsible? Oh, do you know who that Caymanian partner is or was? Because again, we need to hold them accountable. Good morning, Riza. Morning. Edwin having a good laugh. Must be that pum pum comment got him in Chuckle's head this morning. All right, I gotta run. Keep it coming. No, Teresa is a Filipino. Okay. Okay. All right. So I will send what I can to the authorities, and they need to get on it. Oh my God. What a hot mess. There's a health and wellness membership caravan. What is this? Okay. Oh, yes. So they're here March 27th through the 29th. So tomorrow they're doing caravan services. Oh, thank you. So thank you very much. Why not post the contact information of the office information in charge? Well, CBC, let's give you their information. You can try contacting them, but good luck with that. Their email, there's a logical reason why people reach out to me. WORC's email is worccomplaints@gov.ky. worccomplaints@gov.ky. You can certainly try your luck. But the reason why most people are not going to reach out to them, because the same people receiving the complaint messages are the same ones acting like rabbits and boning down to Filipinos, and so they're not going to do nothing with it. Or is that email checked on a regular basis? Is that email audited? You say there's too much room for misbehavior, and that is part and parcel of the problem in the Cayman Islands. Okay? Too much room for all this foolishness. All right, folks, don't forget, if you're a young Caymanian and between the ages of, I think, 17 and 30 or something, the Dart Hospitality School is accepting applications. I think the deadline is coming up very, very soon. So apply, right? You can't get in if you didn't apply. Let me get the date for the deadline. Hold on 1 second, honey chill. 1 second here. Zeus soon started barking at me. He's like, get up. Oh my gosh, we haven't even done our squats. Okay, sir. Hi. He keeps jumping on me like, okay, that's enough now. I need some attention. Ay. Caramba. Hello. Hi. 17 to 30. April the 6th is the deadline. So it's quickly approaching. Hi, Zeusy. Hi. What's going on? Okay, I'm coming, sir. I'm coming. What do you want to do? Time to get up? Time to get going? Okay, honey chill. All right. So thank you guys so much for the information. And keep it coming. tips@caymanmallroad.com. You can send that through. Zeus is jumping on my leg. And we will continue the conversation. I'm not going to let up. We got search warrants, arrest warrants for people, criminals living amongst us. And so call them all out. Just send the evidence. Whoever this Dolores Pascual person is, we've only had one person complaining about her. If there are others, by all means, reach out. And no, Zeus is not going to the appointment, but he's just like, that's enough talking now. Teresa, who has left for the US, please send me some more information on Teresa, because as far as I know, she must have a Caymanian partner here. The partner is still, the business is still in operation. So I'm going to do some digging on Teresa this evening. So yes, if you have information on Teresa, by all means, send the details on Teresa, right? What it is that she's up to. Here's my email address in case you guys need it. Please send your information confidentially there as well. All right, folks. What is this one? Let me see here now. Yeah, so K9 Security, we did a story on her saying that 105 labor law violations. Tell me that she's not going to be able to get a work permit renewed. I mean, come on. This is the kind of foolishness, right? Miss Penny Rivers, she married to Rivers from West Bay. 105, my apologies, labor law violations. What? Do not renew her work permit. How? My God. No, sir, this is ridiculous. All right. These are the types of things. You can't get a work permit when you're breaking the laws of the country. You shouldn't be able to get a business license. Oh, Jesus, please. Uh-oh. What are you doing? Oh, you want to sit in your chair? Oh, hold on. He's got a thing now where he likes to sit in a chair. He's really like the co-host. See, he just jumped up there. Now you're happy? Now you're happy? Now you're happy that you're sitting in your little chair? Now you're happy that you're sitting in your little chair? See, there he is. That's all he wanted, to be able to sit next to me. He's like my co-host. And then he'll lie right here and he'll just lie down. See? Oh, back it up so they can see you a little bit. Say hi. Dear, dear. Dear, dear Zuzi. Okay, gotta run. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Trisha. We don't need any ice mask Gustavo abusers here. Please no. I think the country prefers lawsuits than no action, just saying. Jim's status has been granted to many who should have never gained it. And these marriages, I'm telling you, these marriages, Lord Jesus, we got to scrutinize those more and more. All right, I'm going to go and I will see. She's working in Cricket Square Market. Penny? Jeez. What a mess. All right. Okay. We are on it. I got to run. And, oh yeah, Sandy, is there a way you could get it out there that anyone who wants to confidentially tell you about WRC or CBC officers, please come forward. It will be dealt with with the most discretion. Yes, I will post something. And if you know that our own officers are involved, please come forward, because we have got to address this from the inside out. And we know that there are issues and we need some evidence. We need some information. So name names and come with whatever evidence you have. Please, please, please reach out. We can get you in contact with people who will handle it the right way, and they will go down for it. So it's time that we now stop our own Caymanian officers from abusing the system and abusing people themselves, because they're doing it for the most ridiculous reasons, just for sex. Can you believe it? They're destroying our country, and we got to put a stop to them equally as well. All right. Folks, have a beautiful day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's Friday. Yay!
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.